Okay, in this lesson, I want to mention that most of the configuration in the PHP Dot Ini are fine, unless you want to check it with the creation of file called PHP info, or using the command which is going to be like in this exercise file, which I'm going to include in the first lesson for you. You can unzip it and have a look at these files. You're in the video 4 and section 1, so I'm going to just open this PHP info. All we need to do in here is just use a PHP delimiter and then using PHP info, open and closing parentheses with a semicolon. And if I go ahead and open this file in the video 4, which is going to be PHP info, this is showing all of my information about PHP. So PHP configuration, how did I install it, what's the version. Even though there's a new version, you can go ahead and install it by the time you're watching this video. If you scroll down to this sessions section, because as you can see that this is B, C, and we can go ahead down. You can see that we have also C here, then E. So it's alphabetical. So we have to go to the section where we can actually find the S section. So P is going to be, there we go, sessions. So these are the things that I explained you in the previous video. You want to have a look at these local values, and there you go. We can see that session auto start is already off, and remember this, we're going to actually change it. I'm going to show you how to change it. There you go, session name PHP sys ID. We have this max lifetime, which is I told you 24 minutes, 1440. And then we have all of these right here. As you can see, we have session use cookie. If we have a area, session use cookie is on already. So and then we have this session use only cookie on. If these two are off for you, go ahead and on it. I already changed this to be on, because actually, if you go ahead and install the PHP 5.6, it is already on. But if you're using the previous version of PHP, I will show you how to change it in this lesson. You don't even have to go to this PHP info. If you want to go ahead and find this PHP use cookie and change it, you can go ahead and on the top, scroll top of the page. There you go. This is your ini file location. So user local PHP 5 lib, or there you go, loaded configuration file, and this is the exact location. So if you go ahead and copy this, and then if you open the Finder and then go to the Go, and there you go, Shift Command G, then you can paste it here, and then it will show the PHP ini. You can drag it to Sublime Text and look at all of these files. The important thing I want to mention about this file is all these semicolons are comments. So if you go ahead and I think I have an ini syntax highlighter. So there you go. These are the comments, and lines are which are not comments. They don't have semicolon at the beginning. And we have all of these files. You can search it, find it, and change it. But usually I don't recommend it, because all of the configuration could be changed by you. But if you, for example, go ahead and buy a server or host, and you're not the only one who can change the PHP ini file. So there are different versions which we're going to have a look at this presentation slide, and I'm going to show you how to change them. So to change the configuration, the first place you need to go is php.ini. And if you couldn't find this php.ini, or for whatever reason you couldn't change this configuration from this file, you can go to the httpd.conf if you're running an Apache server. So if you're running an Apache server, you can go ahead and open this httpd.conf and change it. And these two options are not even recommended by me. You might be running your server in Nginx or another web server or WebBrick. So I don't know if you're working with other languages and frameworks. And the second thing, the second configuration, the second place you can change the configuration is the .htaccess file. So if you open up this .htaccess file, and you can change it. So where this is located, this is not located anywhere. You can make this file and put it in your root of your application or web server, and make sure the file name .htaccess, and there is no extension at the end of it. So .htaccess, you can create it, and I'm going to show you in this video. We're going to explore 3 options in this video, so to show you how to set the values. And the 4th option is going to be .user.ini. This isn't supported with all servers. Some servers support this file, which is called .user.ini. If you're sure that your server is supporting this configuration changing, you can go ahead and make this file. The procedure is exactly the same as htaccess, but the changing the configuration is used by different keywords. And the next option is going to be ini_set, and this is the least option because you don't want to do this. And the only reason you want to do this is because you don't have access to do any of those above options. So, and the important aspect you need to remember about using this ini_set is wherever you want to use this script and change the configuration, you have to include this ini_set, and it's going to take 2 arguments. The first argument is going to be the configuration, and the second one is going to be the value or local value, as I've shown you earlier. So let's go back to our XSS file. I'm having .htaccess file and .user.ini file, and I'm going to show you how to change it. So I'm going to drag this folder number 4 to Sublime Text, and you might be opening this with the PHP Stone, which is going to be a good option and good IDE for you. But I'm just going to show you and show you how to change this and how to rename this, because in Mac the files files starting with dot are hidden files. In Windows there's no problem with changing the name, but in Mac files starting with dot are hidden, and you might not be able to change the name. But I'm going to show you how to do it. The first thing we're going to go ahead and open is going to be this htaccess file. So we have this file here with and I have this comment. The first thing you're gonna remember is this comments are starting with # or hash sign, whatever you're calling. We call it this hash here. Maybe in the United States you call this #. And then I put some comment. All the configuration we're going to use I inserted here, so you can have a look at this. So the first thing you're going to remember to change the configuration in PHP, you're going to start using PHP_flag, and then this session.auto_start, and whatever the value is, you're going to set is going to be separated with the space, and you can set the value here. So session cookies on, and session use only cookies are on already. And maybe I don't want to use this off because it's already, I don't want to use this auto start because it already was off. So if I don't want to use this, I'm just going to insert the # at the beginning and then save this file. And then, we have, I said command out the command line, following line for the PHP 5.5.2, because this is already on in the PHP 5.5.2. We are using PHP 5.6 and later. So that's why you have this on. And then we have this non-Boolean values. Some comments right here. We have our session name. Name this Pars click session. You can name it anything you want. Remember, this was PHP sess ID, so I named it anything I want. Important thing you need to remember is if you having a space between these two, you need to surround it with the single or double quotation. And if you're having the nothing in between, maybe you have a number, even number, or odd number, or anything you want to have it, but you don't have the punctuation. Maybe you have this punctuation as well. You need the single quotation or double quotation. But because we don't have any punctuation or space, we don't use anything in between. We have this PHP value session cache limiter, and it is non-cache. And we have this cookie settings. And the thing I want to mention about a few of these are the first line, which is going to be line 22, PHP value session cookie domain, because Google Chrome and Internet Explorer doesn't support anything you name it here. If I type in localhost, because my domain right now is localhost, it is not going to be supported. and that's why I made this empty. But if you have a domain, and you can go ahead and add this. Maybe you have a domain called parse.net, as I do. I need to put it right here. As I said, it's going to be a good practice for security reason. And then we have this PHP value session cookie path, which is going to be persistent. It's going to be a folder called persistent, which we're going to store our cookies there. This is what I've changed already. Session cookie lifetime, which was, as you remember, 1440, like that. 1440 is 24 minutes after you close the browser. If you have instead 0 right here, if you close the browser, all of a sudden your session is going to be destroyed, or not going to be used anymore. And then we have this flag session cookie HTTP only on, and I set this to off, which is you know that this is already, it was on already if you have looked at this PHP Dot Ini. I strongly recommend this to be on for you if you're using the server, but because we are not using server right now, I'm setting this to off. It is really important to make this on, or do not even change this. And then we have this PHP GC max lifetime 1440 and probability 1 and divisor 100. That's all you need to do. If I want to change one of these files now, if I go ahead and rename this to .htaccess, all I need to do just remove this .txt and make this .htaccess. But I'm not going to do it. Maybe I can copy this file, duplicate this file, and then maybe do it later. Let me just duplicate it and make it right here. Let's see if I can rename this. If I rename this .htaccess, Mac is going to give me a prompt. You can't use the name that begins with the dot, and you need to do something else. Open up your iTerm or terminal, and let me just make this even a little bit bigger, and issue the command cd because we are in our user directory, and then go ahead and come to your exercise file. So if I type ls-la, you can see that we have our htaccess. So if I want to remove this, I want to rename this, I'm sorry, issue the command sudo, and then if you say move or mv, it's not going to move it, but renaming procedure is going to be exactly the same thing as you're like moving something. So sudo mv to the name you want, htaccess. There you go, right now, and then it's going to prompt your password. There you go, we have our .htaccess renamed already. This is one of the options. But if you're using an IDE, you can pretty much rename it. But notice that we don't have any htaccess, even though we are having this. But as I said earlier, .htaccess files are hidden. So anytime you want to have a look at those files, you can issue the command ls-la to see or list all of your files, even hidden ones. So let's go to the next option, which is user.ini.txt, but you can change the name .user.ini and remove the .txt extension at the end of it. And first thing you want to notice, the comments are starting with semicolon, and user.ini files use the same syntax for php.ini. So whatever you insert in php.ini, you're gonna insert it right here. We're using 0 and 1 values. Let me just highlight the syntax, so it's going to be much better to see. So session auto starts 0 or 1, and that's all you need to remember. 0 means disabled, 1 means enabled, and you can name this session anything you want. I'm going to just save this. I'm not going to use it because I know that most of the servers are using .htaccess, and it is supported in the Apache server because most of them are using Apache. Let's close this and open up this config.php. This is config.php, and using the ini_set, and these need to be set in every page you want to change the session configuration. Maybe you're having a class, maybe you're having an object, and all you need to do, you need to set all of these in your initializer, and maybe you're using a class, or maybe at the top of the page opening the PHP delimiter and then using this. And there you go. It takes 2 arguments. First thing is going to be your configuration, and the second one is the value. The value doesn't matter it is integer or text like this. You need to surround it with a single quotation. That's all you need to know in this lesson. But As I said earlier, we have this .htaccess in our root of our folder, and we can use it. So let's go to the next video.